Folks ask me, yo, Teamster Teacher, what's your thoughts on these UPS buyouts? One must first remind themselves of two things. One, what is the point of a business? That answer is profit. That's the number one interest. Everybody knows that. It's no secret. The second thing, what's the best and quickest way to do that? We talked about that before. It's called workforce manipulation. So they do that in two ways to manipulate the workforce. You can thin the workforce by trying to get rid of people, or speed the workforce up, make them go faster. So I think a better question is, what is the interest of the company to propose this buyout? And if you just paid attention to the first half of the video, I think you might guess my answer is that the interest of them is to minimize the workforce by way of buyouts, by not consulting the union in order to thin that said workforce to generate more profit, moving higher paid guys out and lower paid guys in. I also think that other than minimizing the workforce, there's another reason here. It's a little bit more coded and probably less direct, but dividing the workforce. Have you noticed all the infighting that's already taken place when we need to be redirecting that focus onto the company and their motives? That's more important to me. My question to you guys is, do you think the company is doing this out of the goodness of their hearts, or is there a profit motive here for them?
I mean, the idea of a billion-dollar enterprise doing anything out of the goodness of their heart is absolutely insane. I think that's a borderline mental illness, if anybody was to believe that. So I've been doing some research on this UPS situation, and it is quite interesting. So UPS was Amazon's biggest customer, and vice versa. But UPS didn't feel like, for the work that they were doing, the profit margins were big enough. So they've gone, Amazon, we mess with you guys heavy, but we want to reduce the workload because this just isn't working out. So we're going to reduce the workload, and in order to maintain our profit margins or increase our profit margins, because let's be honest, these people only do things to make more money. So in order to increase our profit margins, we're going to also let go of a bunch of stuff. So we're going to reduce the workload and then reduce our amount of staff that we're paying in order to increase that profit margin. In business terms, it makes sense. It does. Unfortunately, it's having a really negative effect on a lot of people's lives because they're getting laid off. From the research that I've done, it's saying here that the original number was 1.8 with a minimum payment of 10,000. So a large sum payment of 10,000 plus 1.8. I guess that would make sense.
UPS is cutting 22,000 jobs, offering people $1,800 per year work to buy out of their contract. I told you guys when this contract had bad idea. This is way too much money for a UPS driver. I'm sorry to say that. Like, I want people to make their money. I want people to be successful. But $170,000, $180,000 to be UPS driver is absolutely nuts, right? So when I told you guys when this contract was going on, this was not a good look. It was not a good thing to do. UPS got forced into this contract, and look what happens when you get greedy. When you get greedy, this is what happens. You think you won, you think you're gonna make a bunch of money, all this stuff, and then this is what happens. They lose the Amazon contract, the terrorists messed them up, all this stuff happens, and now they have to cut jobs, right? So now 22,000 people have to lose their jobs, right? In my opinion, if they're like a little bit like more lenient and more understanding when they negotiated the contract, maybe not 22,000 people will lose their jobs. But now UPS has all these drivers with these high salaries sitting on their books. They need to cut costs. So what are they doing? Now they're trying to buy contracts at a laughable $1,800 per year. So if you work there at UPS for 10 years, you're going to tell me you're going to get 18 grand, and that's supposed to be like sufficient enough for you to do anything with, to go find another job? That's absolutely crazy, man. And I told you guys when I was making my videos before that, like I said, UPS got forced into this. I know the union thing got involved, and this wasn't good at all. They got strong-armed into giving this contract, which was just absolutely crazy. And this is what happens. It backfired, and now people are losing their jobs. So no, I'm not happy people are losing their jobs. That absolutely sucks. I know how it is. Trucking market's not going good. So we're not doing good. I'm having tough times financially as well. But when you're in a position to negotiate and you have the upper hand, don't go all the way crazy, $170,000, $180,000 for UPS driver. Negotiate a fair rate. So when times like this come up, at least not 22,000 people are going to lose their jobs.
But that proposal didn't attract enough drivers, so they said, boom, 150,000 flat offer. Take it or leave it. No, take it and leave. Imagine that. Damn, company looking at you like, brother, just take this 150K. Please get out of here, man. I don't want you no more. Would you even want to stay at a company that doesn't want you? Do you have to retire from working forever? Is UPS, you guys let me know in the comments, I'm British. Is UPS that great that you wouldn't just take that 150 and get a different job? Or is it a case where UPS delivers for so many people that every driver job is UPS? Let's see. So the US delivery market is actually described as a oligopoly. First time I'm ever hearing this word, right? It's essentially a small number of enormous companies that handle these deliveries. So you got Amazon, you got the US Postal Service, you got UPS, you got FedEx, and you got DHL. And then you have some like smaller ones. But those are the big five that are dominating the scene. I would take the money and go and work for a different company. However, what you're probably going to see is these companies are going to get flooded with applications because all of these UPS drivers are going to leave. So that could be where it becomes a problem. You could invest that into, you could do so much money. You can do so much with that.
Yes, UPS is rolling out voluntary buyouts, reportedly around 150K for some full-time drivers. But this isn't just random. Here's why they're doing it. After the pandemic shipping boom, package volume has slowed down, especially from Amazon. At the same time,
They gained money during COVID? Or people are at home more? But what for people that had less money? I guess people at home not going out. Okay, damn.
UPS agreed higher wages in their new union contract. So now you have higher labor costs, lower package volume. Instead of mass layoffs, UPS is offering voluntary buyouts to reduce headcount. And here's the part people aren't talking about enough. Senior drivers make up top-tier union wages, some of the highest in the industry. If experienced higher paid drivers leave, UPS can eventually replace positions with newer employees who start at a lower wage progression level. From a business standpoint, that lowers long-term labor costs. From a worker standpoint, that changes the makeup of the workforce. Now let's talk about the real question. Should drivers take it? So here are the pros of taking the 150K. You get a big lump sum of cash up front. You get the opportunity to retire early or switch careers.
I'm sorry.
And you can avoid possible
I'm sorry, you have to take it.
future layoffs for now. And you can lock in money instead of waiting. So the cons are you're giving up your stable union job. You're losing future pension growth. Healthcare and long-term benefits could be impacted. The payout is taxable. Now, if you don't take it, you keep steady paid benefits and union protection. But if UPS continues restructuring, layoffs could still happen later. And future offers might not be so generous. So this isn't free money. It's short-term cash versus long-term security. So my question is to you. If you were a UPS driver, would you take the 150 or stay for the pension?
I'm taking it. I'm investing. I'm going to another career. Yeah, I'm taking it. It's not even a discussion in my head already. Truly.
Y'all ready?
This year, UPS is looking to downsizing 30,000 employees from the current 300,000 union members that are in the United States. What this means. Now, what I think is that UPS in the long run is looking to eventually step away from the union so that way that they can hire cheaper labor to do the positions that we do here, i.e. drivers, and not having to pay us what they...
And UPS is looking at Amazon. They're realizing how Amazon have a lot of people that's working as contractors. They don't have a union. They're not unionized. As Amazon have people working as contractors, obviously some W-2 employees, but most of their employees are contractors who are delivering packages. They can easily outsource that. Amazon making way more profit by not having so many employees that's in the union. That's why they're willing to pay up to $150,000 no matter what your tenure is. They just want you out of their union.
Pay us at top rate. If UPS can cut down drivers to say under 2/3 after all these buyouts are said and done, eventually UPS could step away from the union and have cheaper labor like FedEx or Amazon to do what we do out here. But because we're unionized, that's really hard for UPS to be able to maneuver and pull off in this given time. Now, 150,000, pretty nice.
I didn't see this coming.
They got rid of a bunch of drivers with the buyout, right? And now, at least at my hub, which I know quite a few other hubs might be doing this too, now they're hiring people, and what they're doing is they're getting rid of the people at the higher rate and they're hiring them at the lower rate, because we have a scaled progression and it takes 4 years to hit top scale. Now within that 4 years, we go up for contract in, I'm pretty sure it's 2028. So I think that there's going to be a little bit of negotiations, especially with the amount of people that we got rid of, so they could get a higher cap on basically their profit. And so that's why they offered the buyout. Now they hired new people at half the rate. So I don't know, it's just the math. It is what it is. It's fine. I understand that the company's just trying to make as much money as possible. That's the whole point of a company. But yeah, so it just, I don't know. Sometimes you look at the way stuff is and you're like, oh, okay, it's just all about profit.
Yep.
And I miss when we used to UPS used to hand out like turkeys and hams, and they used to give us a bunch of free stuff, and they would have raffles.
Hell no, man. Hell no. They ain't doing all that shit, man. Those days are dead. Hell no, man.
And that's a wrap, Jack. UPS is offering buyouts to drivers for the first time in 117 years. And you can thank tech and AI for that one. So UPS said on Thursday that it's offering buyouts to full-time US delivery drivers as a part of the company's largest network reconfiguration ever. They went on to say, for the first time ever, in recognition of these unique circumstances, we are looking to offer our full-time U.S. drivers the opportunity to participate in a voluntary program that would provide an opportunity to receive a generous financial package if they choose to leave UPS. You should never sell out. But don't worry, the financial package that'll be available to the drivers will be in addition to any earned retirement benefits, including pension and healthcare. Trying to make it sweet. Now, the company added that each driver would have the ability to decide if this voluntary program is beneficial to their family and the plans they have for their future. Oh, how nice. Teamsters aren't having it. President Sean M. O'Brien said UPS's buyout plan is an illegal violation of the contract the union struck with the company that undercuts its agreement to create 22,500 more jobs.
Again, these companies, it is all about the money. I think 150,000 is a sizable payout. There's a lot you can do with it. You could go to work for somewhere else, but we do know that the job market is cooked at the moment. You know, depending on how you manage your money, and again, but it's taxable though. So that plays into it as well. That's nasty. The fact that it's taxable, it's like, what? That takes it down. You know what I'm saying? But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments.
This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone. I just can't let this go. This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone.